Do you know what is insanity? It is comparison and desire. I will explain it to you soon. And till then, welcome to my channel, The Dialectics. And I am Bhumika Toor. I will be doing my skincare today and explaining everything that I said earlier. So, have you noticed this peculiar silence that surrounds every library? Hundreds of aspirants, headboard, pens moving, open books. And in this silence, there's this wave, a wave of glances, a wave of silent competition, a wave of measurements. And I believe all of this is due to comparison. Uh, Comparison is not something that is said aloud. It is something that lives with it, breathes with it, and I believe it is something that we have been conditioned to do so. Conditioned by whom? By our parents and by the society. शर्मा जी का बेटा तो याद ही होगा आपको. So, comparison is in our every silent envy, and it is something that is destroying our ambitions. Nietzsche once said that insanity in an individual is quite rare, but in a group it is the rule. And this comparison is precisely that collective insanity. I believe that it is something that we should not be doing, but there have been multiple examples of it. How many toppers and how many of these self-proclaimed achievers you have seen saying or comparing this or selling their stories by saying that I have had it rougher than you, so I am superior than you. But just think about it. Is pain something that can be compared? Is it a unit of measurement, or is suffering a universal ruler of ours? No, it is not. I believe to rank pain is to insult it, and to pain is not arithmetic. It is kind of a poetry which cannot be compared. But we see this society, these people saying that you have all the things easier. You have seen these people achieving things beyond their area. But I can't just accept this fact that when there's no unit of measurement of pain, then how is the society claiming that we have it easier? It is not possible. Tolstoy said this: how can we measure pain as it is a deep well? And I believe that these waves of pain, of suffering, it hits everyone. Doesn't matter who is getting it harder. It's just something that is hitting you. Comparison, they say, motivates you, but I believe it suffocates you. Arthur Miller said that I think it would be great that if humans end up with right regrets. But think about it. Are we chasing right regrets? Are we chasing the right things? We are just collecting the regrets of someone else's glory, of these toppers. There's been going this trend, this myth, where it's been told to us that toppers don't sleep. They study for 18 hours a day. How is that even possible? You have seen my videos. I do live sessions, and pulling 8 hours is kind of a nightmare. So 18 hours is something that is just a myth. And these myths are kind of destroying us. These myths are pure distortion. These myths are pure manipulation of our hard work. And we have been spiraling all around it, spiraling in it, and just eating it, digesting it like it's something that will make us work harder, but it is something that is bringing anxiety and depression into our life. Jean-Paul Sartre says that hell is other people. It is not their presence, but it is these yardsticks that we have borrowed from their life. We compare our failures to their triumphs. We compare our stumbling to their sprints. And at the end, we are always comparing. But let us not be naive. Comparison is not something that is forced upon us. It is something that we desire. There's this French philosopher Rene Girard who said that we don't desire something in itself, but we desire it when someone else have it, and he called it a mimetic desire. Just think about it. When you fail, is it the pain of failure that hurts you more, or is it the pain that you feel when you see someone else succeed faster? In this UPSC path, there have been so many people we see who succeed faster than us, and we start comparing, thinking that it is something that we should be able to do it. And we forget that we have been preparing for an exam that is very tough, very dynamic, very unpredictable, and luck plays a huge role in it. And we tend to ignore it because, again, social media is something that is putting pressure on us. Let me just give you a very relatable example to explain what is mimetic desire. This psychology plays out in love. You have seen in this generation that so many people in relationship have been cheating on their partners. Why do you think it is so common right now? It is because of this mimetic desire. People see that some woman is being chased by multiple men and they believe that she must be worth having it. You see so many women seeing a man in a relationship and believe that this man might be doing something right, so he must be better for me. And that's how this vicious cycle continues of cheating. And I kind of can't believe that how in this stage of civilization we have been acting like savages. It is just that these humans who should have been in a stage of monogamy, according to anthropology, it is said that in civilization there is monogamy, and these savages are supposed to be promiscuous. But in this civilization, we believe that this promiscuity is a badge of honor and it is a mechanism to inflate ego. And all of this because of the mimetic desire. The desire of having something what others have, or trying to have something what others already have. Here too, comparison poisons intimacy. Desire becomes borrowed, loyalty becomes outdated, and infidelity spreads like a contagious disease. Not because of the authentic hunger, but because of our mimetic desires. Girard warned us, man is a creature who does not know what to desire, so he turns to others to see what they want. So in love, so in this exam, so in every other dimension that we are in, we try to compare things, we try to desire what others have. So in love, we fail to ask this question, who nourishes my soul? We just ask, who should I chase? Or who is getting many suitors? So I should be chasing her or him too. And out of all this, because of all this, this world becomes a race, this exam becomes a race, a relationship becomes a marketplace, and we are stuck in this hall of mirror. And in this hall of mirror, we forget to see ourselves. Rumi whispers that you should not get lost in your reflection of others. You are not the shadow, you are the sun. And it is the truth that you will never outrun the world because you are not meant to. This Simone Weil's statement once echoed to me that it is the most important and least recognized desire of a human soul to be rooted in not someone else's soil but in our own. And maybe once you understand this concept that you are not supposed to compare, you are not supposed to desire something that is of someone else, you are just supposed to be on your soil. That day, maybe the light will set you free that is within you. For in the end, there is no harder life, no easier life, there is just your life. And yeah, don't forget to use retinol at night.